we're doing a change of scenery today because I feel like y'all always see the black of my TV and I never actually put anything on here, so let me do that. Oh, isn't that fun? Let's set the vibes. Okay, first of all, let me take off these glasses because the glare is getting to me and I don't like that. Hello honeybees, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my July wrap-up. Goodness, it is already the end of July. But I'm super proud of myself, and you guys will be too once I get to everything. So let's just go ahead and get into the books I did or did not read this month, because y'all already know the drill. Yes, no, DNF, a rating. This time I'm actually going to tell you my rating instead of just saying I'm going to tell you my rating and then forget about half of the books that I told my rating to. So I started this month off really strong though, for real, because like I started with 2 books that weren't even on my TBR yet because I didn't do my TBR video just yet. I had just done it after the fact, so I had 2 books that I was already reading. They are Kindle books, so I did not read them physically. I don't have these books, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put up the picture over here so that way you guys can see it. I read first this month, Same Time Next Year by Tessa Bailey. This is a novella. This was a 5-star read for me personally. Not a lot of people rate this 5-star. In Goodreads, the most rated is 3-star. But anyways, it's a 3.40 star in Goodreads. However, I rated it a 5-star because it was too good. Like, it was too juicy, it was too sweet. Not that I remember much, honestly, not gonna lie, but it was so good. I know a lot of people rate books differently. Personally, I rate books on how they made me feel by the end of the book. So if I felt some type of way by the end of the book, I will rate it that way. But the reason I love this book so much is because like it was just a short little great summer novella read for me, and it was a great start to the month. It was so cute, and I finished this in a day. It was an audio read, so I read it with the Audible/Kindle because Kindle sometimes has the audiobooks with it, and so this one did. And I just liked it because it was really nice. Britt was afraid to love, and like she had like her barriers up, and then there was Sumner bringing down all of her walls. You know what I'm saying? And it was really cute. It was really sweet. Like he had a crush on her for so long. It was just so cute. Summary read. I didn't have to like get all the background. I just needed the basics. He liked her. She liked him. They did a marriage of convenience, and boom, they actually fell in love. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. That was literally all I needed. Though I don't understand the title. Why was it called Same Time Next Year? Moving on to the second book I read in this month. That also was a Kindle read. Now this one I did end up reading completely on Kindle by myself. Oh my god, this book threw me through a roller coaster. I don't know what it was on, but it really had me. This is The Friend Zone by Addie Jimenez, and it truly threw me for a loop. Like, I was just like, whoa, what is going on? I was stressed out, okay? I was just going through the motions with this book. At first, everything was good, and then you get to this part, but the romance happens so quickly. I already know. Once the romance happens, as quick as the book is about to be 200 pages longer, you already know there's about to be some twist here in the middle, and then by the end, everything will be fixed. And so, therefore, Addie Jimenez, she gave me a heart, she broke my heart, and then she put it back together. You know what I'm saying? That's how it kind of felt. Like, she just threw it in the trash for a while, and she didn't care about my feelings. Like, I cried a lot. I cried a lot. Yeah, it kind of hurt my feelings. Anyway, that is what happened. And so technically it was a really good little bit of everything. I had some, it went through a lot of stuff in this book. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna cry, okay? No, we're not gonna talk about the part that really made me sad. And I'm such a crybaby, and I am in a good mood for tears today. But anyways, it had every emotion from the love, the anger, the grief, everything that it had in here was too good, and it was put in there so beautifully and perfectly. The quotes were quotable. I highlighted like 38 things, but the quotes were quotable. I really love Josh. Anybody else? Okay, that's my new favorite book boyfriend right now, Josh, but we loved him, and he, like, I don't know, like, that man was a man. Like, I don't know how to say it. Like, he's a firefighter, and she's like this puppy owner who does like her own business for puppies. Girl, Josh, oh. And you know who I kept picturing throughout the whole time was Zac Efron. Help me. Like, what was I thinking? Okay, like, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of picturing that the whole time. But anyways, that was just one thing for me that had me. First of all, like, what? He's a firefighter. Like, he's hot. He's sexy. Like, what? Duh. Okay. So everything was just matching, but also what had me as well is Sloane, like, and that the name Sloane already had me, okay? But her just not wanting to break down her walls of loving someone else because of all of the things that are wrong with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with this woman. She's perfectly fine. She's great. There are just some things that women have to go through that suck, unfortunately. But, you know, we just have to be able to push through and go through it. And she just found herself unworthy of finding anybody else and compromising in a relationship when all relationships are about compromise. And, you know, that is just one thing that really got me. And this book was so good. I really loved it, so I gave it a 5-star. Now, the other book that was also not on my TBR that I also read this month is This Is Where It Ends by Marieke Nijkamp. I gave this book also a 5-star. I'm such a 5-star. Like, I don't know about y'all, but usually I read stuff that I know I'm going to like, so most of the time it is a 5-star. Now, oh no, it wasn't a 5-star. I'm lying. It was a 4.5. I almost gave it a 5-star. The only thing I didn't really like is kind of how the shooter didn't have much of a, I'm not going to say he didn't have a backstory, but I didn't get his intel. Like, we got everybody else's, like, intellects and what they were thinking, but we didn't get him. And that really threw me for something because we had 4 different POVs. 4. Be mindful, this book does have trigger warnings. It is about a school shooting, abuse in a family, and such things as topics on, like, rape, and there's a lot. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot. So just, like, look up your trigger warnings when reading this book because there's a lot going on. All of that can happen in a day, and finding out that there's a shooter in your school and somebody that everyone knows. That's why they say don't mess with them kids in the back of the classroom, okay? The quiet kid, don't mess with him. He might get at you. I'm joking, but, like, no, for real though, because school shootings are so real nowadays. Like, it is real, and I'm just thankful to God. Thank God I have not had to go through that situation. Oh my goodness, kind of moment, like getting shot up at school, like where you're supposed to feel at least a little bit safe, you know? And so that was really, that was a heartbreaker, I'm not gonna lie. So that is definitely one thing I would say, look up trigger warnings, but the book is good. I like how there's multiple point of views. I like how it's, like, quick and snappy because you're getting everybody's thoughts at once. It's just like boom, 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 boom. Like, everybody's going through different things in their minds, like, and you wouldn't think. Everybody should be thinking one thing, though. I don't want to die. Or, I must find my sibling. Where are they? Anyways, that is all of the books from, like, Kindle and audio that are not on my physical TBR, but let's move on into all of the physical books. First up, we have Pride and Prejudice. Now, this book, I literally finished this morning at the crack of 12 a.m., okay? I was not playing about finishing this book, so technically, I read it in August, but also I'm counting it as I did read it because I really worked hard to finish this at 12 a.m. Okay, before 12 a.m. I actually worked really hard, but you know, life be life, and then so sometimes you just can't do the things you want to do. But I was really trying, so I'm technically counting this as I read it in July. You know what I'm saying? But I'm being completely honest and transparent, so you guys know. Now, I gave this book a 5-star. This is a beautiful classic. Of course, it was giving Bridgerton, for me personally, because I watched Bridgerton for a while. I don't watch it anymore, just so y'all know, because we moved away from that stuff. But I was watching it, and, like, I feel like it really reminded me of it, like, very much, this book did. And so, therefore, this book was good. And it just, like, really reminded me of, like, Bridgerton, like I said, like, where you're courting someone and you want this person to love you or you want this person to marry you, and just having a bunch of pride being the men and prejudice against the woman is basically what I felt why this was called Pride and Prejudice, because men had a lot of pride as well as the woman a little bit, but there was a lot of prejudice against the woman. So that is why I feel like this book's name is perfect for it, because it just describes exactly what it is. Like, it's beautiful, it's well written, and it's good. I listened to this in audiobook, and so it was really good. It was quite enjoyable, if you do not know. So that is why I have the accent down pat, because listening to the woman for precisely 22 hours. I'm gonna get back to my normal accent now. Anyways, I enjoyed it and I loved it, and it was a good book and it's a great classic, well written. I think everybody should read it. Alright, moving on into 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim, and y'all, this book, too good. I love this book. It was so adventurous, it was so fun. Watch my 24-hour reading challenge if you want to see, like, full reactions every time I finish reading something, because this was too good. It was exciting, it was enthralling, it was adventurous, it wasn't too hard. It's not like a bunch of kingdom building. It's more about just the magic and the story of the Crimson Cranes and the Ḥśriyama. And this book was so good. Like, I really liked it. And there is going to be some shocks. And I'm telling you, there's going to be a shock there. Like, I gave this book a 5 stars, you can tell. But this was so good. I just love the adventure, and I love how it wasn't like crazy world building, and I loved how I could understand Ḥśriyama's pain, and the connection between siblings was so good. The little bit of romance in here was so sweet. Of course, I think it'll branch out a little bit more in the next book. I feel like she's gonna have 2 love interests only because of what has happened so far. But I can't wait to read The Dragon's Promise by her. That's the 2nd book in the duology. And this book was so enjoyable. Like, I had a fun time reading this one. This one put me to tears, laughter, giggling, and kicking my feet, anger, like everything. Like, it was so good. It had everything I needed in it, and I truly enjoyed it. So I definitely recommend this one for a YA. Like, you know, first getting into your magic and you're first getting into kingdom. This was really a good way to get into that kingdom magic kind of stuff with less world building. So I enjoyed it. Moving on, The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I did not get to this book. Sorry. I actually never got to pick it up this month. I'm hoping to read it soon, though, but we'll see what happens, because I really do want to read this book, but I just did not get to it this month. So, sorry. I'll read it next month, hopefully. Next, One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Didn't finish it. As you can see, I'm still in the middle of it. I'm 126 pages in. I don't like this book, so I'm DNFing it. I think I made my final decision during this video. Like, I am DNFing this book because it's not good. It's really not. I don't like this book at all. Like, first of all, what is really throwing me for a loop is the fact that the chapters are so long. The chapters are like 20 pages long each. I hate that. I hate that for myself, and I can't do with long chapters. Ew, it gives me the ick. That's one of my biggest book icks. Number 2, the story hasn't even started yet. For real. If you want to ask, like, how this works out, it hasn't even really started yet. It just started just now, and I got, what, 200 pages left? I don't want to read it anymore. It's boring. It's just not good. And so, DNF. Sorry guys, my camera died, so we're back. Next is The Book Thief by Markus. Zusak. Did I get to it? No. I just didn't get to it. That's all. That's all that happened. I just didn't get to it. The next book is Galatea by Madeline Miller. I did get to this book, and I'm so happy that I did. I listened to the audiobook like in the morning when I was like half asleep, but it was still good while I was listening to it. I liked how it ended, like with the laundry sound. Like, I liked the sound effects it had, and like just the person reading it sounded so good reading it. It was just a quick short read. Like, it really was like this. It's based off of a Greek retelling. I give this a 5 star, and I really enjoyed it because it was a mother trying to save her daughter, and she just really wanted to get out to her daughter one more time. No, it's all. It's a Greek retelling, so it's not like special or any spoilers. If you have not already heard about the Galatea story, I recommend it. It's really short, quick, and snappy. Moving on to The Honeys by Ryan Lasala. I did not get to finish it, actually. I got into it at like 36 pages in. This is a creepy book. It's a horror YA fiction. Oh my god, this is like creepy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've read like the first 2. The first chapter is creepy. Like, ugh, it gave me the shakes. I was disgusted. I was like, what? But it's too good to put down. Like, what would you do that for? Now, I did want to finish this book, but I just didn't get the chance to. But hopefully I'll get to this another time. I don't know when that'll be. It was still a good book, and I enjoyed it. So far, it's really enjoyable. I only got 6 chapters in, but I also like how the chapters are quick. So far, I'm seeing a 5 star, you know what I'm saying? And last but not least, we got The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Did I read it once? Yeah. Did I read it a second time? Yes. Did I read it a third time? Yes. Now, did I read this time? No. I did not get to it this time, actually. So, I'm looking forward to reading this another time, maybe this October. But anyways, I don't know, but I didn't get to read it this month. It's not like I'm super disappointed. My rating stands the same. It's still a 5 star. This is my top recommendation book right here. This book has a magical feel. This book has realistic feeling. This book has times and era. This book deals with the devil. This book has a lot. So well written, and it's so good, and it's a nice, long, good story. You don't feel left out. There's so much about Addie to learn throughout this whole thing, and there's so much to learn about Lucy. in this book. This was a good book when I read it. Like, it was beautiful, and I stand by that. Like, this is a good book. Alright, so in total this month I read 6 books, which is such a good amount of books because I did the same thing in June. And so in June I read 6, and in July I read 6. So I read 12 books this summer, and I only have 12 more to go before I reach my goal. And so 3 books ahead of schedule is beautiful because I already know I'm gonna reach my goal by the end of this year. I just feel it. Anyways, that was it for July's TBR. Super excited. Comment down below what should we do? The honeybee emoji. I feel like we haven't done that in a while. Comment down below if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time I post a new video. Remember to be true and be you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Mwah.